Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Cryptid Cocktail Party Show where we have a few drinks, share a few laughs, take a dive into the unknown. I'm your host Dave, joined as always by Sarge. How's it going, buddy?
Heyo. Oh, thank God you're back.
Felt good to say those words again.
Yeah, welcome back.
Oh, that was like building up inside of me like a fucking lactose shit. Oh, now it's out. Ooh, feeling good, bud. Thank you so much, Sarge and Cam and Amanda, for holding it down while I was gone. I really appreciate it. Hopefully the listeners all enjoyed it. I didn't listen to any of those episodes, mostly because I started this show just to hear myself talk, and I wasn't on any of those episodes.
Fair enough. That's okay. That's okay. I didn't listen either. No, hopefully they worked out. I'm
sure they did. I mean, I listened to one because I had to edit it, but you know, it was fine. Yeah. It was good. What's going on, bud?
I'm glad you're back because I couldn't figure out how to change the studio name. Like I would change the name and then Riverside was like, no, I'm just going to keep the one that you had before.
Because you got to start a new studio. I don't have to start a new studio every time we record. I just do it because I need to come up with funny names. Although this one, it's not the name I chose, but it works, I guess. Because I like to I like to leave you little breadcrumbs for what the episode might be about. Yeah.
And then the other issue I had is that the first time I didn't realize that I had to share the theme music in the episode. Like I was just hitting preview and I was supposed to hit the other one. So I'm like dancing away and Cam's just staring at me and I'm like, all right, you don't want to dance. That's fine.
God,
and then when I actually heard
that's pretty.
And then I heard the episode and I was like, oh, I didn't play the music for anyone but me. So that's why.
See, I have a soundboard on my mixer, so I don't use anything through Riverside except for just like us to talk.
Oh, gotcha.
This is a little inside baseball for people listening of how podcasts work. No, but thank you so much for doing it. I appreciate it. I know it's a lot. It sucks, especially editing and shit like that.
Bad. It's not bad. It happened to be a very busy couple of weeks because my boss is out of town, so I was covering for him. But I still did the research, and what's really hard is finding out what you haven't done. Because I was literally Googling Cryptid Cocktail Party, and then whatever thing I had found, and I'm like, God damn it, he did that one too.
Yeah, no, it's been almost 2 years and 80 plus episodes at this point. Like we've covered a lot. We need to branch out.
That's why we're gonna branch out into other weirdness.
Yeah, well, that's eventually. Why. Well, this episode's coming out on Halloween, and
which I'm so excited for.
So I figured we'd do something a little different. We're gonna switch genres.
Okay.
And we're gonna get real serious.
All right.
Okay. And we're even gonna change the name of the show for this episode. Midway
just
through,
for this one episode.
It's gonna be during this episode of Cryptid Cocktail Party that we're gonna be a completely different podcast, and I'm gonna try and do this in my best voice for the genre we're gonna do. So now we're no longer Cryptid Cocktail Party. We are Shadows of Haddonfield, a true crime podcast.
Excellent.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. So we gotta get serious now. All right.
Oh God. You nailed the genre. It's exactly what their music sounds like.
Good evening, and welcome to Shadows of Haddonfield. Tonight, we dig into one of the darkest stories to come out of small-town America, a Halloween horror that left a quiet community reeling. Tonight's story is a chilling reminder that sometimes the scariest things are closer than we realize. It's the tale of an unidentified figure, a masked killer who terrorized Haddonfield, Illinois on Halloween night in 1978, turning a beloved holiday into a bloodbath. Haddonfield is the kind of place where people know their neighbors and leave their doors unlocked. It's the last place you'd expect a horror like this to unfold. But on Halloween night, as families were celebrating, something sinister was lurking in the shadows. It started with sightings. Kids and teenagers mentioned seeing a strange figure in a pale, featureless mask wandering through the neighborhood. But in the excitement of Halloween, Most people assumed it was just a prank. At first, the night passed like any other. Kids trick-or-treated, parents handed out candy, and teenagers attended Halloween parties. No one suspected that soon, their quiet streets would become the scene of an unimaginable nightmare. The first sign that something was wrong came around 8 p.m. Annie Brackett, a local high school senior, was babysitting for a family on Lambkin Lane. Annie had stepped out of her car to run an errand when suddenly she was attacked. She was found hours later, her throat slit, slumped in the front seat. Her car parked right on the street had become the scene of her murder, a horrific display for the police who arrived at the scene.
The steam rising off of her corpse was her hopes and dreams escaping into the sky. The potential that she lost. Sorry, I wanted to also get overly dramatic and poetic if I could.
Oh, you're good. You got, yeah.
Thank you.
This wasn't a robbery.
And that's also my true crime podcast voice.
It's pretty good.
It's a gravelly whisper.
It has to be a gravelly whisper.
Yeah, I'll stop interrupting you now. Go ahead.
This wasn't a robbery or a random act of violence. There was something deliberate out there. Police described the killer's precision as unnervingly efficient. It was as though he'd planned this down to the last detail. But why Annie? And why this night? The attack left police with more questions than answers, and this eerie silence that followed Annie's murder was shattered again just minutes later. Not far from where Annie's body was discovered, another young couple was spending Halloween together. Linda Vanderblock and her boyfriend Bob were at home, unaware of the horror unfolding nearby. Sometime that evening, the door was forced open and they were attacked. Bob was found pinned to the wall with a knife, his body left in a grotesque display. Linda was strangled shortly after, her last moments filled with terror as she faced the masked figure who entered her home.
I'm sorry. All I could think of was the movie Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he stabs a guy with like a pipe and he gets stuck to a wall and he's like, "Stick around."
All right.
The minute you said that, I was like,
Sarge,
"Stick around."
Sarge,
in my head over and over again.
This is a serious true crime podcast now, okay?
No. I totally understand. Normally I'm very respectful of victims, but I mean, he's stuck to a wall. That's,
yeah.
I mean,
we're now.
He got the moth in a museum display treatment, you know? Even as a kid, I saw that and I'm like, what's wrong with you people? Why would you do that? Why would you put a pin through an insect? Was it dead when you did it?
Yeah, I got a winged lizard that's like that, like pinned up. I think it was already dead. I fucking hope so, because that'd be insane.
I hope so. That's kind of a fucked up way to do business.
All right, so back to the Shadows of Haddonfield.
Yes,
right.
I'm sorry. Stick around.
The police couldn't believe what was happening. 3 brutal murders in a single night, each one disturbingly calculated. Whoever this killer was, he was moving through the town with terrifying efficiency, and the randomness of the attacks made it impossible to predict his next move. It seemed he had no pattern, no motive. As news of the murder spread, a new figure entered the scene. Dr. Samuel Loomis, a psychiatrist from a nearby town. He arrived at the Haddonfield police station, visibly shaken, warning the officers that they needed to prepare for more violence. Dr. Loomis had an unusual request. He wanted access to every patrol unit in town, convinced he knew the man behind these murders. Loomis explained that he'd spent years studying someone he described as quote-unquote pure evil. The officers were skeptical. What could a psychiatrist know about a violent killer on the loose? But Loomis was insistent, almost desperate. He spoke of a patient he treated, a person whose darkness he believed could not be controlled or cured. He was certain this patient had returned to Haddonfield, although he wouldn't reveal the patient's identity. Now by this point, the town was in a panic. The police doubled their patrols, urging residents to lock their doors and stay inside, but it was already too late. The killer was still out there, and he wasn't finished.
It's an interesting strategy by the doctor. I know who's doing this, but I'm not going to tell you until someone else does. And then when I'm ready, you can know.
Yeah, that sounds like, well, you got to think patient privilege, you know. You can't just reveal that information. There's laws and stuff.
Well, there are some limits. Like if you know someone is killing a bunch of people, then you have to tell.
I mean, you don't have to do anything.
Unless you're in Illinois, apparently. That's okay.
Yeah. As the night wore on, the killer's movements seemed to follow an invisible path, drawing him straight toward one final target. Laurie Stroud, a quiet high school senior was babysitting on the edge of town that night. She noticed an eerie figure following her earlier in the day, but had shrugged it off as a Halloween prank. Little did she know that the same figure would return, silently entering the house as she was tending to the children in her care. Lori's survival instincts kicked in the moment she realized she wasn't alone. She barricaded herself, shielding the children as the intruder tried to break through. A brutal fight had ensued, with Lori using anything she could find, knives, furniture, to fight him off. But the attacker seemed inhuman, unfazed by pain or injury. It was as though nothing could stop him. At last, Dr. Loomis arrived. Drawn by the sense of urgency, he confronted the killer, firing multiple shots. Lori watched, shaken and terrified, as the intruder finally fell, seemingly defeated. But when Loomis and Lori went to check on this body, it was gone. The masked man had vanished without a trace. As police combed the scene and tried to understand the violence that had unfolded, Dr. Loomis finally revealed the truth about the killer's identity. The man in the mask was someone Haddonfield had long forgotten, a former resident who'd been removed from the town years ago after a violent crime. Dr. Loomis explained that his patient had been institutionalized as a child for a murder that shocked the community. He'd been just 6 years old when he committed his first killing against his own sister. The killer was Michael Myers, a name Haddonfield hadn't heard in years. People remembered the tragedy vaguely. The little boy who killed his sister on Halloween night. The house where it had happened still stood, abandoned and falling into disrepair, becoming a place where kids dared each other to enter. But no one imagined that the same boy, now grown, would return. Loomis had always believed Michael Myers was something beyond ordinary. He described him as an embodiment of darkness, a patient who never spoke a word during his 15 years at Smith's Grove Sanitarium. And though Michael had vanished that night, Loomis warned the people of Haddonfield to remain vigilant, convinced that Michael would one day return. The morning after Halloween...
Nope, sorry, I'm gonna... In one day, musician and yoga enthusiast Rob Zombie would make a film documenting the horrors of that night.
The morning after Halloween, Haddonfield was left reeling. 5 people had been murdered in a single night, and the killer was still out there. The police launched an investigation, searching over every corner of town, but Michael Myers was gone without a trace. Some speculated he had left Haddonfield for good, while others believed he was hiding, waiting for the right moment to strike. In the years that followed, Dr. Loomis continued to search for Michael Myers, convinced that he was still alive and as dangerous as ever. His obsession with finding Michael Myers grew, and he warned that if Michael returned, the town would be unprepared for the horror that would follow. To this day, Haddonfield residents remember the Halloween night that transformed their town into a place of terror. Many lock their doors. Some avoid Halloween altogether, while others pass down the legend of Michael Myers as a warning. Thank you for joining us on Shadows of Haddonfield. Next episode, we'll explore Dr. Loomis's theory in more detail and delve into Michael Myers' past, searching for clues that might explain his descent into violence. Until then, stay safe and keep your doors locked, because sometimes the past has a way of creeping back into the present. Yeah, so what'd you think of Shadows of Haddonfield?
Honestly, as soon as you said Haddonfield, Illinois, I was like, oh, he's doing Halloween. All right.
I was wondering if you were going to pick up on it almost immediately, because...
Well, when you said Shadows of Haddonfield, I was like, why does Haddonfield sound so familiar?
Yeah, no, it's...
Because it's like an obscure name. Like, it's not what Halloween is known for, but I did know that it took place in Illinois.
Yeah, I was...
so as soon as you said Haddonfield, Illinois, I was like, oh, God damn it.
I had the idea that I thought it'd be funny to take a horror movie and like attempt to write a true crime podcast as if it was like a real crime. So I
think you nailed it.
So that's what I did.
I think you nailed it.
I was worried. I didn't want to reveal Michael's name too soon, but I was very worried that Loomis would give it away almost immediately. And if not, then as soon as you got to Lori, like that's how you knew.
Yeah, once
like,
you said Laurie Stroud, like that's a dead giveaway. I thought it was still really good. I didn't want to interrupt, and I didn't want to say anything, but I immediately what jumped into my mind was like Rob Zombie,
Yeah.
John Carpenter,
Yep.
mechanic suit,
Michael-
William Shatner's face.
Michael McDowell.
Oh, is that his name? Andrew McDowell.
Oh, Andrew. Who's Michael McDowell? Did I make that name up?
Well, no, I might be saying his name wrong.
No,
too. Malcolm McDowell.
Malcolm McDowell. Thank God. Yeah. Clockwork Orange. How could we forget that?
That's right.
Gosh darn it. But yeah.
We had the last name right. I don't know why I said Andy.
Yeah, that's way off. I knew it was like an alliteration. I knew it was Eminem. But
anyway, he nailed it. Everything he does touches fear in my heart.
Oh yeah, he's great. So yeah, what'd you think? Did it get you at all? Were you at any point tricked by it?
In the very, very beginning, I was, but the minute you said Haddonfield, Illinois, I was like, wait a minute.
See, that's why I was worried. I said before the episode, I was like, I think you're too smart to for me to trick you because I haven't tricked you once.
If you did an episode where you were talking about, you're going to do an episode and it's going to be like the most obvious thing. And I'm going to be like, whoa, really?
Yeah, I know.
It's like the really easy ones that trip me up.
I know I got to get better at this, but now I have a new idea for a podcast, which is a true crime podcast, but it's just horror movies. But
you have to make it really like
grounded.
Over dramatic. That's extremely important. It's got to be hugely over dramatic.
Yeah.
Like imagine doing a true crime podcast and covering like Ocean's 11.
Oh fuck, that'd be really good,
right?
But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so this is our little Halloween special. It's not very long. I had the idea and I wanted to get it done, and I haven't recorded with you in a long time or at all in like half a month. So like I needed to get it out. But that was fun. I
also absolutely love that it's a Halloween special and you covered Halloween. It's just brilliant.
I had to. What else would I have done?
Because then you could do a Christmas special about one of the many horrible Christmas horror movies that are out there.
Like Santa's Sleigh with Goldberg.
Yeah. Or like Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Ooh. Gremlins.
That one's Gremlins.
Gremlins is Christmas, right?
Yeah, Gremlins is Christmas.
Yeah.
Or Die Hard.
That's not a horror movie though. But I could, but I do. That is a Christmas movie. I'll give you that. There's a lot of contention whether or not Gremlins or Die Hard are Christmas movies. I'm going to go with they are.
If it takes place during Christmas, it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah. Like Home Alone.
That's just the way it is.
Like Home Alone to me isn't a Christmas movie, but it's a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
I missed you.
I missed you too, buddy. All right. So that is our Halloween special. I don't know if you got anything going. You want to plug anything? I don't know if you have anything going on. I haven't talked to you in forever, really.
No, I did do a video about some voter intimidation and mail fraud being done by the MAGA folks, and a little follow up to that, which I'm very excited about. I'm going to do another video about it tomorrow. Is the ACLU actually called my friend back and asked her for more details?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it sounds like they're going to be interested in whatever this is. And then was there two different news stations.
Was there like a return address? Like, is there any?
No, of course not. They're cowards. So they didn't put that on there because they didn't want to get back to them.
Yeah. Fair.
But it's still easy to catch them because if they were sending out like bulk mailers, like there's got to be some kind of account attached to it.
Yeah.
But also, like, people are morons. I'm sure they brag about it online. So eventually they'll get caught, and then they'll have to, it's the typical way of MAGA. Make assholes get attorneys.
I saw that. I was like, what the? That's so fucking wild. Like, that is such a
so crazy
ballsy move. But anyway, so you had so the ACLU is calling your friend back, and you said two separate news stations are what?
Two separate news stations interviewed her. One has already posted a news story, and the other one should probably post it within the next couple of days.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make those dudes fucking eat rocks.
Yeah. Punch them in the face. I can't wait. I can't wait for the election to be over, to be honest with you. I'm so sick of it. Anyway.
Yeah. All right.
I love you out there, and thank you for listening.
Yeah. Also, leave us a rating and review,
may
please.
Mothman bless and keep you.
Yeah, we're not there yet, Sarge. We're not there yet, Sarge. All right.
Sorry.
We got to do the other plugs first. I know you're excited about being on the news and all that shit.
I wasn't on the news. I had nothing to do with it.
You kind of, whatever. If you want to follow Sarge on all of the social medias, just look up Sarge the Destroyer. Or you can hit the link in our Instagram, and you can find all of them there. which is at Cryptid Cocktail on Instagram, Cryptid Cocktail Party on TikTok. Leave us a rating and review, please. We got another 1-star review. I think. I don't know. I don't know how to tell on Spotify. We were at 5. Now we're at 4.9. I don't know if that means a 1 point, but whatever. Just make it better. Make it 5 again.
Yeah, stop giving us bad reviews, you fucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna blame Sarge because I was gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's probably my fault. I wouldn't doubt it. Somebody was like, "God damn it, don't ever do this to me again."
Yeah. Yeah. But with that, Sarge, now do you want to say, "I love you" to the audience?
May the blessings of Mothman keep you.
Yeah.
And I love you.
May Mothman be with you.